Hello and welcome to Ask NFA. I'm Coach Darren Slack, and we're here to do our best to provide insight and perspective on all things football. This week we have a question from a player asking how to deal with fan criticism. I would say the best way to handle it is to ignore it for the most part, but that isn't always possible, so I believe the key to properly dealing with fan criticism begins with a change in our perspective. Having a fan who enjoys what we do on a football field is pretty great. There are people who go their entire lives without fans observing, enjoying, or in this case, criticizing what they do. We have to start with gratitude for someone who actually cares about what we do and how we do it on the field. The problem usually starts when those fans don't understand why you did what you did in a particular situation, which leads to an additional challenge fans face that can help our perspective toward them. They'll never know why, and they can't control anything. Fans have an entirely unique view of what you do. They're emotionally invested in the success or failure of the team, but they have absolutely zero control over the outcome. People generally like to feel a measure of control in their lives, especially over things that they emotionally connect with. This is an important aspect of what we do as fans. But imagine if you're a NASCAR driver in a race going up to 200 miles an hour and they're in the back seat. They're putting themselves in the car with you. They trust your skills and they want you to win. But they can't do a thing to influence what you do under pressure. This combination of an emotional investment with no control can produce phenomenal anxiety in a fan during a game. Players and coaches don't feel that anxiety in the same fashion because they collectively have their hands on the steering wheel. But a fan has to ride out that experience with zero input to the process. So they yell, scream, and talk to each other about what went wrong. As a coach and parent of an athlete, I have experienced both sides of this dynamic, and I can tell you that it's much less stressful on the sidelines than it is in the stands. It's true. As a parent fan influenced by other parent fans, all being exposed to the same anxiety roller coaster at the same time is a huge lift mentally and emotionally. They all want their son to play and play well, and they want the team to succeed without injury, and they don't want to see a lot of mistakes made along the way. And the more you win, the higher the fans carry these increasing expectations based on the assumptions that they're making about the quality of the coaches, the skill players the team possesses, and their limited knowledge of the opponent. Most of these hyped up expectations are based on nothing more than just hope. Truth is, they know very little about the coaches. They always assume we have better players because it's their team and it's their son, and they have had no exposure to the game planning process, so they know very little about the opponent or how we should attack them. But all of that doesn't matter. They have hope and they have opinions. We know all this, and that's actually what fuels our frustration, but if we could just step back and consider their plight just a little, we might have a little compassion. You see, what you see when fans are upset is that their hopeful yet unrealistic expectations are being dashed on the rocks of reality. They can tend to get so frustrated by their lack of control of the situation and the feelings of helplessness to do anything about it. Their often misguided criticism of the team gives them some capacity to rationalize and thus accept the team's failure. Fans who suffer a sense of emotional loss pursue much needed closure through that criticism. If there were no criticism, there would be no explanation in their minds for the team's loss, and that is unacceptable to them. So they'll talk to each other about it. Now, to those being criticized, it feels personal, attacking, especially after a loss. This is normal and understandable as the player thinks people are suggesting they tried to do bad or look bad on purpose. However, if you can grasp the concept that criticism that they're giving is merely a coping mechanism in them that deals with what they can't control, you might find the compassion to forgive. If you really think about it, their criticism may not be wrong. It's just not our desire to receive the painful echoing of our failure from the cheap seats, especially when they don't know everything that went into what we did and why we did it. We just can't take it personal. They're fans. You have people who care. Be grateful. That isn't something normal for everyday people. They're frustrated like you are for the team's loss, and if you're willing to let them enjoy your success with you, you have to let them feel a part of the loss as much as they desire. If you're willing to take the praise for a job well done, you have to be willing to take some criticism when things don't go well. You see, that's part of the deal. Here's a suggestion about how to handle the media when dealing with fan criticism. First, thank the fans for their support. Identify with their frustration at the outcome in a manner that makes their feelings important. Agree with those critiques that are true if they are, and assure them that you're working to improve by expressing what you intend to do to make the necessary changes in the coming week of practice. There's also a caution I want to offer you in dealing with fans. There's a measure of accountability that fans demand for their continual support, financially, emotionally, and physically. Coaches and players must accept that as sort of an unwritten contract that they respectfully honor throughout the season. Now, fans are saying, we will support you like no one else, but you need to at least show a measure of gratefulness for your effort and acknowledge our pain along with yours. Don't separate us from the team. We've earned this opportunity to feel this way. They think they have. Now, coaches and players who push back at fans and the media or take it personal are breaking this unwritten contract. By declaring themselves exempt from that accountability, they expose themselves to increased fan frustration, anger, and outbursts. It's not okay for any coach or athlete to ignore a fan base, treat them with contempt, or ignore their efforts, even if you don't agree with them. I'm not suggesting we start taking our cues from fans as to what we do, but we must accept a measure of accountability as a member of the team or the program and not think ourselves above it. Well, what about unreasonable fans who are never happy with anything? Well, that's part of the deal you made when you agreed to play. And if you don't like it, you can leave. There'll always be fans who are never happy. Use their frustration as a motivator to keep pushing for the team's best. In the end, we'll not be judged by fans only on our win-loss record or how exceptionally we played, but we'll also be assessed for the sacrifices we made for the team and the way we made fans feel when we were around them, the way we talked to them, the way we interacted with them. That may only be a few times during the season where the fans actually get to see you. So make every moment with fans count as a way to let them know you appreciate them and their support, even if you're struggling with their criticism. At the end of the day, if you want to stop the criticism, win. We hope that helps some, and know that at NFA we're committed to serving more than just the skills of the athlete. We're here to serve in every way we can. Good luck, NFA Nation, until next time.